Welcome to the RSL Show. I'm Jake.
I'm Josh.
I'm Andy.
And I'm really loud on the recording, apparently.
You're okay.
Okay, thanks. On today's podcast, we're going to talk about Sam Johnson throwing house parties and misusing his firearms, apparently. Not his. That's a misnomer. Someone firing guns. We're going to talk about why RSL is terrible and where the identity for the team went.
Yeah. Let's just get into it.
Where should we start?
Oh, man.
So let's start with games.
Let's talk about Sports Illustrated leaking that news.
Tom Hackett, good friend of the show, making the Sam Johnson news a thing, according to SportsIllustrated.com. I mean, there's a reason why that publication is dying, right?
Yeah. No, I don't know.
Right.
They're dying.
They're dying.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, they were cool when I was like 12.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you 12? Do you have your football phone?
My football phone?
Did you ever get the football phone?
No.
It's a shame.
Well, let's not talk about football.
That's okay. Let's do news and notes like we normally would.
All right.
And then we'll get into the games because that'll be fun. In news this week, Sam Johnson. Just going to go right into it. Yeah, sure.
All right.
So how far back into the story do we want to go?
Let's go to last week.
Yeah, last week, a good friend of the program reached out, shared an article around a house party in West Jordan that
popped off.
Literally was a banger, as Andy would say. There was a house party in West Jordan with like over 100 people at it, and shots were fired. No one was injured, but gunshots did ring out. So the source said, hey, my friend lives in that neighborhood, and they said this is Sam Johnson's house. And I thought, no, he's playing tomorrow. Like the story was from the week before, and it was the night before the Seattle game. So I started kind of thinking, okay, maybe he won't travel.
Right. Then he traveled and started.
Traveled, played the game, and then I started hearing some whispers that the team was aware. And so I sent Matt Gashk the article, and I said, hey, are you aware of this? And at the time, the team didn't have a comment. So I reached back out again today and said, hey, do you have a comment? And he responded with the thing that I tweeted. So we went with it. Woo. Pew, pew, pew.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like the neighborhood that he lives in, I think it says it in the article, is like kind of upscale. It's by the golf course.
That's right around where I grew up.
Yeah, it's like a nice area in West Jordan. So
by Glenmore?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, a house, dude, with 100 people.
In that neighborhood, that surprises me.
And then someone gets shot.
Nobody got shot.
Oh.
Someone just shot a gun.
Shots were fired. No one was injured.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Yes.
Because I read that somebody did take a hit and went to the hospital and then said
you know what?
that
I read that too because they were not cooperating at Intermountain Hospital or whatever.
The original report that I read said nobody was shot.
Okay, so then
the updated version
said that someone did catch a bullet and they went to the hospital and then they were being uncooperative and they were like, oh, I was just walking along State Street and got shot.
It's the only goal Sam Johnson scored in the last 8 games.
Yeah. Which, by the way, if you're going to lie about a gunshot, that's actually a pretty good lie.
Just walking on State Street?
Yeah. Like 2 a.m. on a Saturday. Yeah, you'll catch one.
Is it just terrifying that he was having those parties? A, that he's having those parties. B, that it's the kind of party where people are strapped.
Yeah. I'm less concerned about the gunshot than having a party with 100 people during an actual pandemic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you and I have talked like we would love to do a social distancing Oktoberfest thing, and we're not comfortable having like eight of our friends.
I'm surprised we're here.
Yeah, I know that the 3 of us are taking it very seriously,
right.
And Allie just got tested, so I'm confident that I don't have it.
And then a friend of mine gets tested all the time, so unless he gets it, then I know I'll have it.
A friend of yours gets tested all the time?
Yeah. Anyway.
I'll call him a friend of mine as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that one friend.
Yeah.
Good
Yes.
buddy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out. Hey, so we tried to interview.
Oh yeah. So Andy was gonna take a whack at his first solo interview.
Yeah. Oh,
And-
dude.
And was hyped up, honestly.
I'm pretty sure he chugged the monster right before, just ready.
No, it's a bad idea. If working in like the type of work that I do or did is when you're calling somebody important, you need to know what the hell you're talking about. You need to have your questions ready to go, and you need to take it serious. So
We don't
Yeah.
do any of those
no,
things.
No.
So prior
So
minutes.
we're not professional,
No.
which is we know that.
So check this out. So all that went into it, right? And then I got Sam on the phone, and he just deflected and said, "Hey, I've got to redirect you to the club per my agent." He's a really nice guy, and I personally I don't know Sam Johnson on a personal level. I don't think any of us do. My memory of Sam Johnson, my first memory of Sam Johnson was a few goals, and then he was doing like charity donations downtown, right? So my thoughts are, you're doing something incredibly dumb.
Yeah.
I feel like these guys, I don't know if there needs to be like some sort of mentorship program like within the club.
There is. The league has one.
Okay. But mentor these guys up. Teach them what's right from wrong.
All right, but how?
Because-
You're gonna mentor a guy that's been a professional all around Europe for the last 10 years.
I get that.
You know what I mean?
But man, like I was thinking about it and I'm like, like this guy just made a mistake.
Multiple.
But it's a big mistake.
It's huge.
It's a pandemic.
Yeah.
It's 100 people.
Multiple times.
You're putting professional athletes at risk because you're going into the stadiums, into the practice, you're
But
traveling.
not even just athletes, right?
Staff.
Mhm.
Athletes' families.
Yeah. Families of players and staff.
Yes. So then my other thought was, man, he's such a nice guy. Like I like him. Hang on. I like him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want the club to make an example out of him, but you know who will? The league. Because you can't do what you can't do that.
The club will make an example of him too. I mean, they made one out of Danny.
Yeah. So you have to think about it this way, right?
Dude.
Contract is up at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Team option for 2021. He has played 30 goals total for us.
30 goals.
30
I was like,
games total.
I missed a couple of those.
Forgiven.
Yeah. 30 games total. He has scored 10 goals in those 30 games. He's maybe seen a total of 96 minutes this year.
Yeah.
Just not seen minutes at all.
I've heard from a couple people today as well. Kind of off the record, kind of on the record, whatever. Won't name names, but they don't like him.
Yeah, I think that's what we're all hearing is that he's not great in the locker room.
So,
Sure.
yeah, he may seem to be a nice guy. Maybe he's good with...
Sorry, I just pulled up his stats on MLSsoccer.com. It says no stats available.
Eesh.
Anyways.
Anyway, he might seem to do good things, especially for his Liberia and his community there. But
Oh, like when he flew out that exotic car.
yeah,
It's
well,
pretty
man,
cool.
I believe he bought a hospital. I mean, he does good things, but
Starting a hotel.
yeah, but at the same time,
Mhm.
you can't endanger Albert's kids, Demir's kids, Everton's kids, any of those players, any of us that go to the stadium on
Yeah.
a kind of regular basis, whatever regular is now.
Dude, I understand. You want to have like a good time, but 100
But
people.
have a good time with 5 dudes, right? Like,
Yeah.
how many of those 100 people do you think he knew?
None.
3?
Maybe.
Yeah.
You put it out on WhatsApp or whatever, and snowballs, and you gotta think that's why he got a new WhatsApp number, right? Because the cops were watching his other one.
Yeah. So in 2020, he has 10 appearances and 1 goal.
Yeah,
I just don't see it. I think it's very likely that the team will make an example of him. That the league will make an example of him. It's very likely that he is released from the team pre the end of his 2020 contract.
oh, I see it
it is-
happening in the next couple of weeks, if
I
not sooner.
fully expected it to happen today.
Still time in the day, dude.
Still time.
Yeah,
I also will not miss him one tiny little bit.
Wow.
No, Sam Johnson's going to turn on that guy in 10 years when someone tweets, name a random RSL player.
Alfredo Ortuño.
Someone will throw Sam Johnson out, right?
Alfredo Sauce Ortuño.
Can we own up to that ad that was floating around a while ago?
The KSL ad about Ortuño?
Yeah, if you want to.
Go
it
for
was
it.
your
It's
baby.
you.
Yeah. Just making stuff go viral. It's cool.
That's what you
I
do. You just can't
Yeah.
get us to go viral.
Yeah,
for some
that-
reason.
Alfred
Hey.
Ortuño post was all me.
Super funny.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
No.
It was great.
It was good.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
So add another kind of mark against RSL ever signing a striker who's worth literally anything at all.
It's got to happen eventually.
Yeah, I mean, you hope, but the other little piece of news that we should probably talk about is something I tweeted Sunday night after the game, Saturday night after the game. We had this, we'd heard this rumor for months that Deloitte had asked the team to cut their salary budget for the team, for the players, in half in 2020. So Sam Johnson is the product of that. Like, I get that he's a designated player, but when you're cutting funding all across the organization constantly, scouting suffers, right? Interviewing players who are going to join the team suffers. We used to hear stories about Garth and Jason flying all over the place to speak to people
Directly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if that's happening at the same level anymore. Would you have been able to figure out whether or not Sam Johnson had attitude issues? Maybe. Would you have been able to figure out if Alfredo Ortuño just wanted to go to Las Vegas and drink coffee? Maybe. Like, I don't know. I look at social media posts even, and you can maybe suss out what kind of a person a player is from their social media in today's day and age. There just needs to be more accountability towards bringing in players who are respectful of the crest they wear
Right.
on their chest and the
But-
fans who put money in their bank accounts.
But to that point, you have to spend money, right? You have to spend
Yeah.
money on the scouting. You have to spend money on the GM going out to speak with them. You have to spend money on the player. And when, seemingly Deloitte is saying, find me whoever you can on a free, just do it.
Yeah.
This is what happens.
Yep.
And this is what happened since he's been here.
Yeah.
You're Ortuño, Pedro Baez,
Burrito.
Oh, he was here with Deloitte, huh?
Mm-hmm.
What about Jaime?
Yep.
Was that Deloitte?
Also.
Yikes. So, yeah, it's just apparent that there's not a lot of effort being put in, right?
And
you got your Robbie Finley back because you had his rights.
Same with Euro.
Right. Your Chad Barrett because it's end of
Cheap.
a career, right? Like, it's just, there's not a lot of things to be excited about in the
Yeah.
last 7, 8, 9, 10 years.
Generally, RSL's scouting is who can we get on a free.
Exactly, and that's
Yeah.
not okay.
Not good enough.
And to that point, I'm okay taking flyers on a free if it's like a proven guy, right? Like Natum.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he was on a free.
Yes.
That one's okay. But
Mhm.
when your entire philosophy is find him on a free,
It's a
look where we
problem.
are. We're in the basement.
In other news, Ben Olsen fired.
Don't
Probably
think
saw it
anyone's
coming. The reports right now are that Jill Ellis, former U.S. women's national team coach, in the running.
surprised. That'd be dope.
Great documentary on Netflix right now called The Playbook. Jill Ellis is in that documentary. It's a bunch of coaches talking about their coaching philosophy. It was fascinating. I know a lot of people didn't really like Jill Ellis. I think it would be an interesting signing.
She won some games.
She won some games, but people are basically saying like she won some games because the team literally couldn't lose.
Well, I mean, you could say the same about Sir Alex, but
still got to win them.
right.
Yep.
You can only play with what you got and who's put in front of you, right?
Agree.
What about do you see the Reggie Cannon stuff?
Yeah, insane.
Bruh.
If you haven't seen the Reggie Cannon stuff, go look it up on Twitter. Some racist comments were made towards him at a game, and then the FC Dallas front office wasn't happy with his response.
Wanted him to apologize.
Wanted him to apologize.
Nah. Nope.
It's an interesting comment. He recorded a podcast and they talked about it. you can feel the tension in the recording. It's interesting.
It's wild stuff, man.
Lots more players getting COVID. Colorado basically has an entire team out because of COVID.
Bubonic plague last year, COVID this year.
Yeah, just no good for Colorado Rapids.
They have the Rocky Mountain Cup now, though.
I think they should give that back.
They should just throw it away. It's like virus.
Yeah, we don't want it back anymore.
What if Sam Johnson licked it before they handed it off?
That would be
and
hilarious.
inspected all of them.
Oh my gosh.
Would you want to cut him if that was the case?
Yes,
Yeah, me too.
even more. But it's just funny. The imagery is funny. Like Sam Johnson just sitting in the locker room. I didn't get to play this game. It's just weird.
I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah. So a couple of teams have sort of surprised me of late. LAFC pulling it together, beating Seattle Sounders.
Okay, that's hard, though. Is it hard to say, like, a team that should be destroying people is good?
Yes. This year, yes.
All right.
I really, because the thing that was a leading indicator for me is how well they beat us a week and a half ago. But Seattle, the team that is flying right now,
Good team.
Super hyped.
really good team,
Jordan Morris.
getting whooped is strong. They lost to LAFC. It's just interesting.
Soccer.
Yeah, I mean, it's why you play the games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Red Bulls hired their new coach, Struber. I know nothing about him.
Yeah, me neither.
Great. Moving on.
Yep.
Let's talk.
Ooh, sounds like a toaster strudel.
Oh, wow.
Toaster Struber.
Toast. Somebody better come up with that TIFO.
They got to.
Oh, yeah.
New York people that aren't listening.
TIFO.
There you go.
So, should we talk a little Vancouver?
Wait.
Oh, what's up?
If we're on the subject of TIFOs, like if we were to make a TIFO for our next match, what would it be?
Don't.
Oh, no, we suck again.
Would it be like a huge banner of just like 100 people at a house party on fire?
All wearing like paper bags on their head because we suck.
Yeah, I think I would just wear a paper bag to the game. How long until somebody wears a paper bag to an RSL game?
I actually considered wearing one tonight.
Tomorrow.
No, like to the podcast.
Oh,
like,
to the
for this
podcast?
recording.
That would have
Yeah.
been pretty funny, actually.
Yeah,
I
what
couldn't.
happened?
I couldn't find one big enough for my head in my house
Yes.
Oh,
because I only have like little lunch sacks, and that's barely like a little dunce cap on me. So
nice.
I gotta find a large-headed paper bag.
Yeah.
Harmon's.
Okay.
That's too big though. That's like
They got a few.
robot costume.
All right. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. No, that's a good question. I don't know what I would do.
Yeah.
I would
Nothing,
say
'cause I wouldn't
would
go to
say
the
fire the owner, but we already did that. Should we talk owner? We should probably talk ownership updates.
Do we got any?
No,
Oh, cool.
there
Neat.
are no new updates.
We're a ship sailing with no sails.
Yeah,
No captain.
Things are in motion. That's about as far as I can go.
Sooner the better, please. Yeah, we just need something positive to talk about, I guess.
Yeah. People are starting to. I've seen some conjecture on Twitter about how maybe there's not an owner or ownership group in Salt Lake that would make the purchase, and that RSL is
False,
going to
right?
move. There's no
It's
way.
false.
There's
Yeah.
no way.
Dude, that would be the ultimate karma for all the crap talking we've done.
Oh man, I would feel so bad.
Yeah.
I would really struggle if we had a hand in all of this happening, and then the
St.
team,
Louis
and
Real.
the team moves to like
Because of the RSL show.
New Mexico, Phoenix.
And then Big Dev is the captain.
Oh,
Phoenix,
that
Salt
would be
Lake
perfect
Rising.
for you.
Yeah. Huh?
Phoenix, Lake
Real Rising.
Real Rising, Phoenix Rising.
Can you imagine?
I don't want to.
I don't
no.
want-
What would
no.
we do? Nothing.
Close up shop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Huh.
be the end of the show.
Yeah.
Or it would birth a new show because we would have no favorite team and could just be salty on everybody.
It's a good point. All right, should we talk?
And then they just turn like
Guys.
Rio Tinto into the Fun Dome.
Oh my gosh.
It's like a high school half the year.
Yeah. Or
Just
they
like in the each
classic
section.
classic skating.
Section 35 is art class.
Yeah. Anyway. All right.
Yeah.
Vancouver, RSL.
Don't want to talk about Seattle first?
No,
I liked that lineup. I liked that formation.
we talked about that one.
No, I didn't.
Mitch and I did.
Oh.
We did an extra podcast last week. Remember?
No.
All right. Vancouver.
Last week feels like a year ago.
Yeah, it really does. So the Vancouver game, heavy rotation.
But like rotating starters back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So getting players back into the positions. Justin Portillo still playing because Everton still out sick.
Portillo's a little baller, though.
I did not mind that one bit.
Baller.
Yeah.
Him and Ruiz are having a year.
Yep.
I know he's only had 2 matches, but
He looked good.
talk about taking your chances for both those guys.
Probably the 2 best players on the field.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Probably with the most asked of them as well.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I like it.
What's really interesting to me in this one, things that I think we had been seeing throughout the year, negatives really that we had been seeing from RSL, became a lot clearer in the second half. And we can talk about the first half. RSL scored a goal in the 31st minute. Lovely build-up play to Justin Miram, who dropped the ball back to Dami, who put it away. It's very reminiscent of the Albert to Dami goal.
About the only positive chance we had the whole match.
It really is. There just was not a lot going forward for us. And I want to talk a little bit about that. I tweeted some images. I want to talk a little bit about the possession
Those
in the
heat
final
maps,
third. Yeah. So I think this game, 4 out of the last 5, obviously not being so great. This game in particular illustrated what is wrong with RSL right now. And the Sam Johnson situation should be illustrative of the fact that our DP striker is not playing games because of his own actions has hurt this team in so many ways.
Well, and when he has played, he doesn't look sharp.
He does not look sharp at all.
Obviously, if
Yeah.
you're partying all night.
Yeah, and not fit. Never came back fit from his injury or from his surgery. Hasn't worked hard in training. Like, these things matter, and not having a really good number 9 and a really good 10, so striker, attacking center midfielder, you see it in the heat maps.
Yeah, there's a giant black hole.
Yeah, there's a giant black hole right at the top of the 18, from the 18 and to like 35 yards
You could
out.
even say exact center of the pitch,
Yeah.
from the goal to half field.
Yes.
I'm
Watch our YouTube to see what Josh just showed.
Or said.
Yeah, if you go check it out on whoscored.com or on MLSsoccer.com, you can look at the heat maps and at the chalkboard diagrams for where the possession occurred, where the successful passes occurred, where the failed pass attempts were. And we do try and pass the ball into the middle. We just don't have a player who can hold the ball, receive the ball and hold it. We don't have attacking midfielders who will receive the ball and turn and face. Every pass is negative, right? So
every single one.
we win the ball, and the 2 players who were really taking the ball up the field were Ruiz and Portillo. Miram had a dribble in the game, but when I looked at successful dribbles in this game, 3.
That's bad.
It's really terrible.
That's really bad.
So it's just not. 7.
That's still bad.
But we only had 3 unsuccessful dribbles. So we had 10 attempted dribbles all game. That's not enough. Like, that's players being unwilling to take a defender on one-on-one. And I don't know if that's a confidence thing or if it's a tactical thing from Freddie, where he doesn't want the ball turned over in dangerous positions.
So we're just going to play it back to the goalie.
But that's the thing. We just play it back to the goalie.
Who then is going to play it right back to you in the air.
And then we turn the ball over anyways.
Yeah.
Like,
makes no sense.
What the 2 things that I think are really 3 things that are really plaguing RSL right now: turnovers and really poor positions. And that's not on the dribble. That's really bad passing decisions. Some of those made by young players. Other of those passes are made by seasoned professionals who really shouldn't be making bad passes like that, but they do. The other thing is, tactically, we basically go one direction, left.
Yeah.
So everything goes up the left-hand side. When it's Justin Miram, it all goes to Justin Miram. When it's Corey Baird, it all goes to Corey Baird. And it just tends to die at their feet, right? Rather than working inside, outside, inside. We work inside, outside, up the line.
Mm-hmm. And then nothing's there.
And then nothing's there because number 3 is we overload so heavily on the side with the ball, we don't really create mismatches. So what I mean by that is when the ball goes into Justin or to Corey, the runs that are made are all to the left-hand side.
Yeah, you have Herrera or Toya running behind them.
Yep.
And that's really it.
Martinez checks in,
Right.
usually. There's a support from either Demir or Pablo, but the only real outlet pass there is a 60-yard switch to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one kind of at the top of the 18 or filling the space, in, to your point, in that sort of 30-yard wide.
Right, dragging a center back, keeping them occupied at the spot.
Yeah,
None of that.
It just collapses down around the ball way too much.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like bunch ball, and you even when a cross, you can make a cross.
No one's there.
There's no one there because the person who's supposed to be there, Douglas Martinez, is so far out of position.
If you told me Dougie was playing the 10 or the 9, I would say no, he's playing the wing.
Yeah, he plays the wing.
Yeah.
Somebody suggested on Twitter today that we stop calling him Dougie Fresh because there's nothing fresh about him. I kind of agree.
Yeah.
Although I will remind you, he's super young. I will say, though, we should actually do this exercise. I want to play a game. I'm going to say a name, and you tell me if this player is an RSL player or a USL player.
And like, be brutally honest.
Yeah.
From this season.
Yeah, we're just gonna give you some names.
Okay.
Let me turn you up real quick.
Okay.
Douglas Martinez Jr.
Fringe.
So you would call him a squad player.
Yeah. He's like third on the depth chart.
Should not start in RSL games.
Rarely. Open cups.
Rarely.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
Agreed.
Okay.
Tate Schmidt.
Oh, Monarchs all day.
Eric Holt.
I like Holt, but
I know you
Monarchs
just like him
all
because
day.
he's beefy, though.
yeah, but he's a Monarchs player.
Let's see. This is gonna be a fun one. Donnie Toy.
Fringe.
Yeah.
10 years ago. Yeah, his last couple seasons, like he was fine. He was a tidy player, but the league's evolved, and with no one pushing him for minutes, no one there to like rotate him out. It's hard to say. Yeah.
Jason Ramirez.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But he needs Monarchs.
Monarchs. Put
all
him
day.
down on the Monarchs.
He needs to just be running. Yeah.
Yep. Anyways, that was my fun game.
That's
Corey Baird.
USL League One.
Yeah. Oh.
Not even championship.
Heat. All right, let's talk about how you feel about Corey Baird.
I just not hot on him right now. He's a good player. He's obviously an MLS player,
Hard worker.
but I'm sure everything going on is getting to him. His attitude seems to be out of control. His just doesn't seem to want to play.
Yeah.
His temper's really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Not producing. Anytime you see him, he's just frustrated. It's, Yeah.
I think one of my biggest complaints about Corey right now, he is a black hole.
Yeah.
When the ball goes into him,
It's staying with
it
him.
doesn't come out.
Yeah.
And he tends to try and dribble 2-3 players at a time. We've seen Ramirez do this as well. I want to see more, but this is the thing with RSL. I want to see more connective play, moving the ball in and out of space.
Right. Real fancy stuff.
And yeah, real hard. But it's what we saw against Colorado in the bubble.
Yeah, it was great.
What
It was
we saw against
fantastic.
Colorado in the bubble was a phenomenal version of RSL. I don't know what's happened.
The fact that we can't even come close to replicating that is mind-blowing.
So here's the question for you.
Oh, boy. I'm not feeling very salty today, so.
That's okay. Who is to blame? And this is like a very philosophical question.
We've had this question. We talked about this.
I know, and I want to bring it up. I want to bring it up again because I think the perspective needs to include Deloy Hansen for not spending on the team.
That's where it starts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Elliot and
Craig. Yeah.
for not pushing Deloy to spend more and or not effectively using the money that they were given.
Yeah, that one's
Right.
hard.
That's
That's hard to like get too pissy there.
So I want to go into that one later.
Right.
Okay.
I can't get too mad at my mom for not letting me have $20 allowance when I need
Yep.
30.
Right. But what you do with that $20 matters.
Except the market, you know.
So
When I was a kid, I could
Okay,
get a candy
okay.
bar and a soda
we'll
for
go
$1 at
we'll
the
go
gas
into
station.
this right now. Here's my theory. This is because of what you said last time.
Oh, great.
So
I forgot what I said.
I think with that money, you could build a really strong core of players like Demir, Nedum, Albert.
But we have that core.
So here's my thing. That's where I don't think that we have used our money effectively or been as thoughtful as we could have with the players that we surround them with.
Yeah, the problem is the signings of like Alvin Jones, Ashton Morgan, Justin Miram, honestly.
Keeping Luke Mulholland on the payroll
ridiculous.
for 3 years
Yeah,
longer
ridiculous.
than he should have been. It's like little decisions like that that are the decisions of that group.
Letting Plata walk.
Yeah. Not getting money out of players that we definitely should have gotten money out of.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm frustrated. And Sam Johnson, who is going to be released by this team, letting him go for nothing when we could have gotten rid of him in the offseason or last summer.
Right. I
or
heard a lot of
whatever.
whispers about us selling him last transfer window.
Yeah.
Before the season even started.
It's
because obviously the problems were there.
Yep. That to me, the inability to effectively
make a decision and act on it.
Yeah, and also this goes to landing the academy products that we really wanted to land. Like it's just a very different team in my opinion. But I'm at the point where I'm looking at Freddie very directly.
Yes, yeah, and the microscope is on him.
Has to be.
Yeah. Because we have regressed like we talked about last week, and I don't like it.
No.
Because we still have all in all, you take Bob Bradley can win with this team.
So that's kind of what has got me thinking.
There's not bad players.
No, there are some bad players.
Sure, but we're not basement dweller bad.
No, where I'm starting to wonder where you draw the line for how or who motivates a player. Mm-hmm. How do you get a team up for a game? And in sports, it's really hard because if I went into work and I was like, sorry, boss, you didn't motivate me enough today, so I didn't do my job that I know how to do.
Right, you get fired.
Get fired, right?
Yep.
I would get fired, not my boss.
Right.
So there's a different line there where could you argue that Freddie's doing the job, but subpar?
Right.
Yes. I don't know. I haven't been to training this year, obviously.
Because I'm curious.
Because I'm really curious what they're training like. That was one of my issues with Mike Pecky is the training sessions were not great. And then you have to say, well, Freddie was involved in those.
Right. So it's more of the same, right?
Yeah. I just really had high hopes for Freddie, and I'm holding on hope that this isn't all him, but I also think he's definitely done at the end of the year.
If you're a new owner, like we've talked about, you have to almost rebuild at this point. Top down.
Yeah.
You move Freddie back down to the academy, whatever. Because I don't want Freddie to lose a career, right?
Right.
I like him. I want him to stick around the organization. I just wonder if maybe the academy is better for him, right?
Yeah. Or Monarchs, right?
Yeah.
Here's my thing.
I don't want Olave to get fired.
I don't want Olave to get fired either, but I think on that coaching staff, I just don't know if Freddie is a head coach.
No.
That's my thing. And
I think Freddie is a good trainer.
Yeah.
Maybe. But then that goes back to training sessions. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't know anymore. I don't like not knowing. But since Christ, we've had Kassar, Pecky, and Juarez, and Daryl Shore for a brief moment.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't had a good coach in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you're feeling, and you're just like hypotheticals. So when it comes to people in the actual organization,
It's gotta be rough, dude.
Yeah, it's like who do you cut? Who do you just kick to the side?
Well,
That's why we have Mulholland on the payroll for 3 years.
It's been more than three.
Somebody just really likes him.
Longer than
Yeah.
he should.
Oh yeah.
So it's like
someone's sentimental and doesn't want to let him go.
Yes.
exactly.
Which you can't be that way.
No.
There's no room for sentiment in sports.
No.
And that's where people are like, oh, somebody tweeted Kyle should be playing more.
No, he needs to be done last year.
Yeah.
He shouldn't
should've
see the
retired.
Phils. He shouldn't see his
And,
500th game.
We have him right here. Like, hi, Kyle.
He's a forever legend, and I will
We-
appreciate him and love him forever.
He's in the pantheon of the RSL show. However, he's too slow left to right.
Yeah.
Doesn't cover enough ground going
He's
forward.
just a foul machine.
Only passes the ball backwards. The most frustrating thing I've seen was watching him in Seattle play negative ball after negative ball after negative ball. Never once did he turn, receive the ball, and turn and face the goal we were attacking.
which is what he was good at.
He used to be.
Yeah. And, I'd even say this about Javi towards the end. I don't like the way Javi ended, but it was time.
Yeah. Same thing about Nick, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
time.
Although Nick would do a better job than Putna right now.
He's probably not wrong, but
But also with Putna, why isn't Ochoa playing?
he still hasn't cleared quarantine from the Monarchs, from what I understand.
How are his fingers?
Bullshizzle.
It's fine.
It's
No.
fine.
Yeah.
There's been plenty of time to not play him for the Monarchs to get him up here to the.
I
first
agree,
team.
but he has to quarantine for a certain number of days after he
It's only
officially.
it's like 10.
It's like 10 days after he officially leaves the team. I heard he was training with the team last week.
If
but-
he's training with the team, he's obviously clear quarantine.
I know, but I'm just saying, like,
I'm just saying
starting.
this is just that year. Like, this is the perfect year to get him minutes.
Yeah.
And I saw someone, I think it might have been Freddie, say they didn't want to throw him into the wasp nest or whatever. Throw him in.
It's time.
Time to learn.
I wish we could bring up, like, Julian Vasquez, Chris Garcia, Bodie, all the young guys.
Noah Powder, all the guys we've
Yeah.
signed, bring them on in.
And
But
then-
we can't.
Well, just rotate a bunch down.
Do you guys want to see like a 7-0 against us?
Sure. So here's my thing. Would you?
Why? Why not?
Would you rather lose? Like, at this point, the season is
It's
kaput,
done. We're going to finish
Right.
bottom.
Nope. I don't want to be humiliated.
This is more humiliating. Seeing our starters
No.
get walked off the pitch every match, even just 2-1. We're
I
getting
would,
walked off
I
the
would
pitch.
much rather lose knowing that we're giving young
Getting
players
spanked
minutes.
7-8.
Sure.
I mean,
it's already happening.
I don't think that I really don't think that we get spanked 7 or 8-0 with a lineup that still includes like Pablo,
Demir,
Everton, Demir,
Natum,
Natum,
Glad,
Glad.
Herrera.
Yeah, you put in Noah Powder on the left.
You're sprinkling some guys in.
You put a Noah Powder on the left. You put Andrew Brody on the bench. You bring in Julian Vasquez to play on one of the wings. You play Bodie up top half a game. I'm just saying, like, I would rather see those guys play than I don't know.
But you're
Or-
also asking Freddie to like, hey, dude, just lose.
At least you're getting an because you're not asking him to lose. You're asking him to develop, and that's better than losing with guys you should be winning with.
But when you're the head coach, dude, like you're going after wins. You're not getting paid to
Yeah,
experiment.
so
So-
he's going after wins, but he's not getting them.
So here's the
I
other
get
thing.
that.
Freddie's comment at the end in the post game.
he's got
right?
it. He's good, dude.
But here's my thing. Freddie's comment in the post game was, "We can't expect this team to go out and win 1-0 games all the time, right? Because there's nobody scoring goals. What is he doing to push for us to score more goals? Right now, seemingly nothing. And my thought is, it would go a long way to say, you know what? We're going to try something. We're going to bring in some really hungry young players who are aggressive, who have something to prove, to see what they can do."
Okay.
He did say it's been many years since we've had a goal scorer.
4 years. I think it's more like 6.
4 years is polite. It's
Yeah.
been since Sabo left.
Yeah.
But to that extent, until you have a new owner, nothing's coming in money-wise, right? You're not going to go purchase a player until an ownership's established.
Well, it's very telling that the 3 signings we made in the summer were all Monarchs players.
Exactly. So that's why he needs to go out instead of saying, we need a striker. You say your reasoning, right? You say, hey, we can't really transfer anyone in, so let's get after these young hungry guys and see what we can do.
Yep.
You try something different because nothing's changing.
Yeah.
Every match I've watched in the last 2 months, since the bubble, honestly, dreadful, boring, horrible.
That's why I asked the question on. So go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you think, like, with Freddie's demeanor and maybe the type of person that he is, like we've met him, do you think he could walk into an office as pissed off as Mike Pecky or Jason Kreis and ask and demand the players that he wants, or like the money to be spent in the positions that he wants? Do you think that he has that in him?
No, I see more him going to the owner and laying it out, well thought out, maybe a presentation saying this is why we need something like this.
Yeah.
He'll have stats, he'll have pictures, he'll have comparisons with other teams. That's how I see Freddie doing it.
I just, it's tough because you don't know what works at RSL.
And no one
And-
does because we've had an owner that has
Yeah.
completely hamstrung us for a decade.
And Deloy, if you want to know what your legacy is, you're a cheap
Yeah.
guy. You're a cheap guy. That's your legacy.
And, to whatever owner comes in next, don't be a Deloy.
No.
Because the fans are done with that kind of crap.
Speaking of
You know what I mean?
speaking of cheap, I've heard over the last couple of days that the academy was built very cheaply.
Oh, we knew
Somebody told me a story today that the hot water heater is for all of the team showers. It's basically the hot water heater that you would have in an apartment. So the hot water in
The guys are running
in the
off
shower,
of practice first to get back there.
the hot water in the shower is like maybe 3 minutes.
It's no different than the lights. You can't have the lights and the fans on because
Yeah.
you went cheap on the electrical or the sprinklers.
Well,
Half the damn grass is dead all the time because the sprinklers don't work.
They fixed that.
yeah.
But
I know they did, but
the grass,
there was an issue.
The grass didn't seed at first.
Right. They
Because
went like 6 or 7
he went too early on seeding the grass, and then
'Cause
they
it was
didn't
cheap.
have because he was like cheaper.
Ended costing more money because he went the cheap route.
He had to redo it twice.
Dude.
It's awesome.
That guy is like the epitome of like glass house.
Okay, but
Yeah.
so those apartment complexes he built around them?
Mm-hmm.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
They look nice. They have the amenities.
Well, because it's
But you-
required.
But
by
you
law.
walk around them,
Yeah.
you can see where they cut corners.
Yeah, I guess.
I
so.
mean, they're 2 years old and the corners of the concrete on the foundation are crumbling away.
Well, that's super
The
safe.
little walkways they weren't even smoothed out. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's just,
It's awesome.
it's ridiculous.
Anyways, that's a rant.
Yeah.
Not good from RSL versus Vancouver. We lost 2-1. Dougie Fresh scored an own goal.
dude, I didn't see that coming.
Me
that
neither.
2-1.
Me neither. It's
I
really
called it a loss.
frustrating.
Did I not call it a loss? If we go back time machine
I
to
think you
last
did.
week's episode, I said we get no points
Yeah.
at all coming up here.
I
I said maybe we
I
would, but
really thought that coming off the back of the LAFC game and the Seattle game, there was a chance that the team could pull it together.
nope. Now we got to quote unquote pull together for Portland of all people.
Gonna get whooped.
Yeah.
Cynical me wants us to lose out.
Shout out to Bean Mace, by the way. He tried
Going
to
to the game.
he tried to sneak into the stadium,
It's amazing.
and he said somebody caught him like
Hero.
trying to walk in there.
I
So
love it.
please do that again.
It's like when me and AY snuck into the Broncos game with Jitter and Kenny.
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
We didn't make it very far, but we did it.
Proud of
Can
you.
I say one thing?
Yeah.
No.
Nick Romando doesn't listen to the show, but props on LA Lakers, 2020 champs. I'm a LeBron fan, dude. I've been watching the NBA Finals,
You're only watching because you're betting.
and it's a lot of fun. It was a really
And
good
it's
season.
a lot of fun. How
A lot of
smooth
fun.
was that?
No, just
No
watching it.
denial. No, like it's just it's a lot of
It's a
fun.
lot of fun.
Just watching it.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you for the skateboard.
Dope, right?
Yeah,
It's real cool.
yeah. Nick's a cool dude. But I think that that wraps it up.
That's
Yeah,
it.
I don't wanna talk
We didn't
about
really
it
do
anymore.
questions. We did. Thanks for everybody who responded to a couple of questions that I threw out there on Twitter this weekend. It was really interesting to see what everybody was saying about the brand of RSL soccer. Boring, defensive, lots of stuff I can't say
It's
on the
not even
podcast anymore.
defensive anymore, man. It's just like let's all stand here and hope no one kicks
Yeah.
the ball past us.
I did want to talk a little bit more about Freddie's comment about the 1-0 thing, because he never plays like he's trying to win 1-0.
No, you
because
still have
could-
to attack.
You could also park the bus and pull a Mourinho, score a goal, and then sit back and just grind out a game, but we don't even do that.
Yeah, we can't even grind out a game correctly.
Nope.
Mm-mm. No.
We'll probably
What we tried to do against Seattle, though,
it's just not great.
just didn't work.
We'll probably do another episode on Thursday because we have a game Wednesday and Saturday.
Is that the Mitch edition?
It can be.
Yeah.
Is that
Anything?
what we're doing?
Yeah, I know
People
you,
like to hear from Mitch.
you guys are busy.
Are we?
I have
you-
soccer practice Thursdays.
Oh, dude.
Toxic creeps.
Toxic Grapes, undefeated.
Hey, thanks for the invite to come watch the game, guys.
Oh, thanks for the invite to golf. Yeah, if you want to go there. All right, guys, check out the
I knew he
YouTube
was
channel,
gonna say something
the
about
RSL
that.
Show, rslshow.com. Subscribe to the newsletter. I
I'm
don't know
actually
what's
going to
coming-
write it this week.
Yeah, I don't know what's coming out. I don't know if like Josh has a cool T-shirt idea.
I have lots of ideas. I just don't have.
We got to go get a bank.
We gotta get
account.
our bank account.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.